Until I got the DJI Osmo Mobile 4 and the right video editing apps for the phone, I didn't realize that being a mobile video maker was such a possibility, like a realistic possibility. It made the whole process of video making on your phone so easy. You can literally attach your phone and be shooting 4K log cinematic footage literally within 5 seconds now. It's that easy. I can literally pick this up and start using it now. I am not exaggerating when I say that it has literally changed my life. Now, I know that sounds just like so overly dramatic, and I was in a DJI campaign and I made one of the videos. So I know it probably looks super biased, but I promise you, I am not getting paid to make this video. I am literally just blown away. I truly believe that a gimbal is just an absolute game changer. Versus handheld footage, it is absolutely night and day. I truly believe that gimbals are an essential at this point if you want to get the best possible content that you can. Aside from the upgraded active track and the new features like the dolly zoom and the ability to use third-party apps like the Moment app and Filmic Pro to have the best mobile video editing experience, this tiny gimbal right here has integrated some of the features that were just relatively new to the industry and the full-size Ronin or just regular camera gimbals. You can now do things like gesture control and the spin shot that was popularized on the Ronin S. This is such a game changer. No more having to recalibrate, no more having to balance this over and over to get these shots that are going to be shared and grow my social accounts. I posted one of the clips the very first time I used it and it went viral. And I'm not trying to make that like a big deal for me to have a minor bit of success on Instagram, but the idea of being able to take something on this phone, edit it on this phone, upload it all within a few minutes, and it become way bigger than anything else I'd ever posted has absolutely just changed my outlook on social media and how to use it. This is now my go-to for just everyday sort of travel, and this DJI Osmo Mobile 4 paired with this iPhone and the right video editing apps is a beast video maker. Now that I have the experience of using this commercially as well as casually, I figured I might as well just make a detailed breakdown of not only just the new features in this, but how to optimize and customize your settings so that you can get these epic shots in your videos, all just by using what's right here. By the end of this, you'll be ready to go out and make the most epic iPhone or mobile phone content that you've ever made. And that is a guarantee. So, what is new with the DJI Osmo Mobile 4? Well, I'm glad you asked. The campaign slogan for the Osmo Mobile 4 is create magnetic moments, because they have literally just changed the game again. One of the biggest complaints with just mobile gimbals and gimbals in general is having to realign your phone or your camera and having to rebalance it and calibrate it every single time that you go to use it, because sometimes you just really want to get that shot and you don't have a lot of time. Well, of course, DJI found the perfect solution for it, and it is a magnet. Literally all you have to do is take your phone and clamp it on and it's ready to go. In the Osmo Mobile 4 bundle, you're gonna get the gimbal, you are going to get a charging cable, you are going to get not only a magnetic clamp for your phone, but you're also gonna have a stick-on magnet. And of course, the tripod bottom for when you wanna do time-lapse or just, put it down. So let's talk about this magnet for a second. It can kind of act like a pop socket. You can use it as a stand like this for FaceTime or watching videos, but it's not directly on the phone. There's actually a sticker that's around the magnet that you put on underneath. There's also an adhesive you can use for it. You don't want to put it directly on glass in case you're going to be taking it off. However, they also don't recommend putting it on a phone case. I tried to use it on the phone case for the first time for the shoot, and it literally pulled the phone case right off. But I've just been leaving it on the back of my phone because I've been using it a lot. Remember to use your alignment grid to make sure that it balances properly, because this is exactly marked for exactly where it should be on your phone. That way when you slap it on, it balances right away. Let's fire it up and go over all of the new features. So like I said, they have upgraded the active track so that it can track smaller objects more accurately. They have new intelligent modes, like the dolly zoom, which is that super dramatic effect where you either push in towards somebody, pull away from somebody who doesn't change size, and the background changes. And in their panorama view, they have like clone me option. It's really cool. So what it does is it takes 3 different photos and it has a countdown in between each. So you could just go and pose in one spot, move to the next spot, and then you can have 3 different poses in the exact same photo without any Photoshop. The gimbal is now stronger than ever. So it holds around 230 grams plus or minus 60, which essentially covers every phone. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is around 226 grams, I believe. Pretty much any phone you throw at this, maybe not an iPad mini, but it should cover all of the iPhones and Androids. Third-party integration. Now, I heard that might have been possible on the earlier versions, but now we can officially use this with third-party apps like Moment or Filmic, and you can use the function buttons. There are many apps dedicated just specifically to getting better colors and for editing your videos. So if you're not using these other really cool features in the DJI Osmo Mobile app, you can use ones that are just better off for color grading. I'm not going to get into too much detail on that right now, but I have dedicated an entire video to figuring out what the best video editing app is for mobile phone, because I had to shoot a commercial on it, and I was so nervous because I didn't know how the colors would perform. So I had to try out a bunch of different apps, and if you don't want to pay for them, I already did, and I've given you a review of what I think are the best ones to use and the ones that I just prefer to use daily. Hey you, do you have any friends? No, me neither. With the new DJI Osmo Mobile 4, we have gesture control. All you have to do is set your frame and then make your hand gestures, and it will take the photo or start recording for you, which is like actually pretty cool, especially if you don't want to keep annoying your friends to take your photo or video, or if you don't trust their taste. But that feature is not applicable to me because I have so many friends. I have so many. Again, just like a full-size gimbal, this has the spin shot, which I thought, okay, like couldn't you just spin it on your own? And I tried it in different apps and it was just really jittery. It really confused the phone. When I tried it in the Osmo Mobile specific app, it was so clean. It was smooth as butter. I wish I used it more. And finally, there is a slow power down so that your phone doesn't just smash against the gimbal. First, it goes into the standby mode and then it lets loose, hangs out, which is great. And on top of all of these new, really awesome features, they still kept the last ones like, time-lapsing and hyperlapsing. So if you want to go enjoy sunset and you don't want to be holding your phone, you can just set it down and record the time-lapse yourself. And the Osmo Mobile will do all the work for you. Or you can jump into hyperlapse mode and you can take it around with you and do a walking time-lapse. It has never been so easy to create a travel video, like seriously. Time-lapse can be up to 4K 30 frames per second, which is awesome. But the hyperlapse will be 1080p because my guess is that it needs to crop in the sensor in order to really stabilize and create that smooth hyperlapse for you. And they have 4 different speed settings, so 5 times, 10 times, 15, and 30 times. And aside from the time-lapse hyperlapse mode, we still have our slow motion mode as well. At the top or the side of the screen, you can see your video settings. That will change things like the resolution and the amount of frames per second that you're recording in. For the most part, this will stay the same as you turn the gimbal on and off. One super important thing to note is when you're switching between these modes, make sure you double check your video settings and what you're shooting in. A lot of these have capabilities to shoot in 4K 60, but a couple of them will switch you automatically into 1080 or 720p. So when you're switching modes, be very careful because you don't want to just, accidentally record it in a lower resolution than you meant to. In our standard video mode here, we can shoot 4K 60. And a few things like the glamour mode and the slow motion can't do 4K 60. The hyperlapse as well, it's shooting in 1080p, but for the most part, you're recording 4K 60 on here. Now that we know what this technology is capable of, I'm gonna give you a detailed rundown of all of the shortcuts that they've included in this and how to utilize those best, because they're genius and they make life so much easier. Now, aside from the zooming in and zooming out buttons, there really are only 3. There's the trigger, the record, and the mode button. And of course, we have a zoom in and a zoom out trigger on the side. If you don't use the zoom in and out, you can actually just slide your finger across here, depending on your phone. If you tap the power button once, you can check the battery, go from photo to video and from video to photo, or you can activate the quick menu. When you press and hold it, it will turn the gimbal on. Tap it twice to switch in and out of portrait and landscape modes. And to put it into sleep mode, whether you're getting a phone call or you're just done shooting for now, tap the button 3 times. The shutter or record button's pretty straightforward. You press it to start recording or to take a photo, and if you're in photo mode and you continuously hold down that button, it will just do a burst shot for you. Now we'll just talk about the trigger. To use active track, you either press the trigger once or you can draw a box around the subject that you are wanting to track. And it's genius. It even works on the front camera, which is so cool. So if I'm like, so I want to go here or I want to go here, it follows me the entire way. Now, if you want to lock the gimbal, what you have to do is press and hold. Tap it twice if you just want to recenter the gimbal. Super convenient after using active track. Tap once and then tap and hold to activate sport mode. And to switch in between front and back camera, tap it 3 times. So brilliant. What's that? Okay, and finally, let's go over the settings that you're going to be using in the DJI Mobile 4 app so that you can individually tweak this to your own customization and use it in the way that's best for your style of shooting so that you can get those epic bangers in the exact style of shooting that you like. A very important tool in filmmaking in general is being able to control things like your ISO, your shutter speed, and your white balance. This allows you to keep the exact same lighting throughout the shot so that the colors don't just drastically change on you from the beginning to the end. I had a couple of issues in a few locations where I started out in a dark forest and then moved out to a bright sunny beach where it would change all of the colors. So having the ability to just switch into manual ISO, shutter speed, and white balance has been a game changer. So you can change and set your ISO and shutter speed, except for when you're shooting in slow motion. First, you have to change your lighting to manual, so your ISO and your shutter speed. And then you can go over to these settings and you can change your white balance there, whether you want the preset ones or if you know how to set your white balance in Kelvin. And on top of that, you have a grid, which just helps with positioning and framing your shots. I find it super helpful, always using it. To activate that, just go up to your settings here and choose your grid. Gimbal settings. So not only does this gimbal have active tracking, but it has 4 different types of following modes. And each of these modes are going to affect the way that your gimbal moves in general. So this is where you're going to change your follow modes. So we first have our follow, just our basic follow, just smooth, slow, and steady. Or we can do a tilt lock. It stops your phone from tilting, as you can see. This is also called flashlight mode, I'm pretty sure. From there, we have an FPV mode, which is it's pretty intense. If you really want to follow something, it moves so quickly and fluidly. It looks really cool for really up close following shots. And finally, we have the spin shot, which I guess technically is a follow mode, but I mean, it's kind of like a feature on its own. Now remember, we can still activate sport mode by tapping once and then holding. So it's ready for all those quick motions as well. It's not as intense as FPV, but it's good for really fast motions. And on top of that, you can enable sport mode here. And then you can change things like your zoom speed. So whether or not you just want to utilize the zoom tool to, change your style of shot, or if you want to do a really smooth, slow zoom in or out, you have that option right there. You can change your control stick just like when you're gaming and you change your sensitivity of your controllers. That way you can tilt and follow faster if that's what you're used to, or if you want quick motion, or if you want those really slow following shots or really smooth pans, you can slow it right down. Now if we change the control stick and control direction, we can either have it free flow and you can go diagonally up and down, or you can lock it so it's just either gonna go horizontally or vertically. Only left and right or up and down. And finally, if you're one of those people who invert your mouse pad on your computer, or you prefer to invert scroll, you can invert the dials on here too. You can actually change the mode button. If you're just going to be using it simply for photo and video and just keeping those basic settings, you can switch it to just go from photo to video and from video to photo with the click of the M button once, or you can activate the quick menu, which I truly think is really cool. That way you can go and you can change any mode that you're going to be shooting in. And that allows you to even access the different follow modes when you're switching into these. The next setting is calibrate, which I recommend anytime that you're going to set this up and turn on your phone and you're going to start shooting again. I would recommend calibrating it. This allows the DJI Osmo Mobile 4 to get an accurate reading of the weight distribution of your phone being mounted on it, especially if you're not using the magnet. It allows it to compensate the balance, which allows you to get smoother, better shots. Now, if the calibration was a little bit off and you feel like your phone's tilted, or you're partway through shooting and your phone starts to tilt, if you did use it with a phone case, or your phone's just starting to tilt to one side or the other, there's actually a horizontal gimbal adjustment, which is super helpful, and you can tilt it either clockwise or counterclockwise up to 10 degrees. It's also gonna hold your settings, so really make sure to check that if you're finding an issue with the angle of your phone, and make sure it's set at 0 and you can go hit reset. Now, if you decide to use the Osmo Mobile 4 without the magnetic ring, and you want to use the mounting clamp, we're going to discuss how to balance your phone so that it can perform at its best. The first thing that's advised by DJI themselves is to take off your phone case. Phone cases have the tendency to slip, and this might give you an inaccurate balance. Now, when you're lining up this magnetic slip, what I tend to do is try and keep it underneath the power and the volume buttons, or any buttons on the side of your phone. The logo on my phone lines up pretty perfectly center with the alignment guide from DJI. So I typically aim for the very center of my phone and covering this logo. One thing you do want to make sure of is that the text and the white dot is facing upward towards your camera. It matches a white dot on the DJI gimbal, so use these white dots as a reference point for alignment. Now that we have our phone mounted, doesn't matter if it's vertical or horizontal at this point, grab the axis and lock off the gimbal from moving. Now that you have the gimbal axis locked off, you can notice whether or not your phone falls. This is going to tell you if your phone is balanced or not. For this example, we'll go vertical. The magnetic circle on the back actually slides left to right, and this is going to allow us to balance our phone. As we notice, the phone immediately falls to the left counterclockwise. So what we have to do is just line our phone back up, and we're going to slide it over to the right to counterbalance the weight. This just means that the phone is overweight on one side. Now it's too far to the right, so we're gonna move it back just a bit. And then once you do this, and once you get it in the perfect position, your phone should hold whether it's in horizontal or vertical mode. And then once it holds in place, you should be good to go. And finally, last but absolutely not least, this app includes its own video editing software for you. So if you don't want to edit the clips yourself and you just want to have it done for you, you can go into this story mode, pick a song and a style of story that you're going to use, and it will help guide you through some automated shots and put them all together for you. Essentially, it can help you pick out 3 to 6 different shots with perfectly automated movements for you, whether it's tilting, panning, or rotating. And to adjust the speed, you choose the length of the shot. Then after you record all of those different shots, it will splice together a video for you to the music that you chose earlier. Choose a preview based on the style of video you want to make. Travel is going to have more slow style shots, whereas sports obviously going to be very quick shots. So choose depending on the vibe of video you're going to be making. And you can preview the motions before you hit record. Do this for a few different shots and think of it like, Vine, if you remember Vine, or TikTok or Instagram Reels. You shoot a segment of the video and then the next segment and the next, and it puts it all together for you with or without music. Now let's talk about this one piece called GLAM mode. So I see the Osmo Mobile being a huge tool for just beauty tutorials and everything. I tell a lot of people just to shoot on their phone. But GLAM mode is, if you had a bad hair and makeup day, if you want to change some of the skin tones of your model or yourself when you're recording. This way you don't have to go into Facetune, or I honestly do not know what the other apps are for, softening your skin, brightening it. You can do that all on your phone. You can do that all within this app now. If you've made it this far and you found this video useful, please hit subscribe. It is absolutely free for you to do that. If you want to be notified when I'm releasing new videos, click the bell beside the subscribe button. And if you're fired up on this and you know you want one, I will put an affiliate link, which just helps me pay rent and spend time making these videos for you. It doesn't cost you any more. I'm truly proud to be a part of the launch campaign for this. It is such a game changer for me personally, and I hope for you as well. If you want to see the video that I made with DJI for the launch campaign, I will put a link to that. Go check it out if you want to see what this thing is truly capable of. Or follow my Instagram and check out my Instagram Reels. They're all shot and edited on this phone right here. And please let me know your thoughts on this, especially if you owned the 3, 2, or 1 or a different gimbal. Let me know how you think it compares and competes with this one. I'm so glad that there are things like this that are affordable in terms of camera gear and won't outdate. You know, it's all based on what phone you're using. And if you still have questions about this or concerns, drop a comment. I respond to as many as I possibly can. And if you want to know what software I use for editing on my phone, that's going to be in a different video. Thanks for dropping by. I truly hope that this video helped you and, you know, really gave you a thorough breakdown of this product. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.